I feel this is one. I feel this is one of the thing that is like not being emphasized enough or not being taught enough in colleges when we are studying contact lenses in our college, and that's why there is a lot of misconception or lot of things. Even the practitioners who are practicing contact lenses, they are not fully aware about the contact lens solution. So we are talking about lens solution in terms of its composition. When we take a contact lens solution, what are the things that is there in the lens solution, and what are the uh, functions of those components that those are present in the solution. So it would be going a little bit uh, extensive talk. So and there would be a lot of like technical points. So I will request like all the interns and fellow. So please make some notes, like points in between those you are not able to understand. Make a note somewhere so that in the end you can clarify those points. This is very important whether you are practicing contact lens or whether you are not practicing contact lenses. When you are in clinics, you are bound to be coming into contact with any patient who are using contact lenses. And sometimes because of the solution that those lenses are using, that could be one of the cause of the problem for which the patient has visited the hospital or to the your practice if you are practicing individual. So why contact lens solution matters? So before, like I already have explained like why it matters. So I like this one quote uh, quoted by Geo Felsen, who is actually a well-renowned contact lens practitioner in UK. So it is not the contact lens and it is not the solution which is a risk factor for complication that we are seeing with the lenses. It is the user who is the main risk factor. Why? Because it depends upon the like how that person is using the lenses, the compliance level, and the cleaning part. So continuing on that, so why we should like bother about contact lens solution? Because we know, as at least I know as a contact lens practitioner, that a good fit does not mean that patient would be happy with his or her contact lenses. There are additional factor. Even if you have given a very good fit, a very good vision, very good quality lenses, still there are good percentage of chance that patient will come back to you saying that he or she is not happy with their contact lenses. And one of the biggest reason is the solution sensitivity. So many people come with the contact lenses issues that they use contact lenses but they don't feel well, not in terms of vision, but their eyes don't look quiet. It is always irritated. They do not feel comfortable with the lenses. And you check everything, you check lens material, you check fitting, and everything looks right. Still, the patient is having this problem. So there, it should come into your mind that solution sensitivity is something that come into your mind, and this is something that exists not in a very small number of patients, but exists very frequently, but not reported as frequently because we tend to think that other reasons. And there are a lot of confusion when it comes to the contact lens solution and terms like this, like when you go to a contact lens solution or contact lens company which are manufacturing solution, the solutions comes with these taglines like for sensitive eyes, no rough formula, lasting comfort, essential electrolytes, healthy lens wear. So what does this mean? What is terms? So it is these terms are not only confusing for the patients who are going to buy the solution. Sometimes, and I found it most of the times, even like most of the optometrists and even the practitioners who are practicing contact lenses, they are not really like fully aware about these terms, what these terms actually mean. So like terms like no rub, what does it mean no rub? When you are getting a solution and it is written that this is a no rub solution, but what does that mean? What does mean by multi-purpose solution, MPS? And there is uh, stand-alone test that is actually a microbiological test, and that is one of the very important tests that is like FDA. When FDA, Food Drug Administration, recommend any solution, so these are the one of the important tests: stand alone efficacy, and is a regimen test. So what does that mean, those tests, and what is the multi-purpose disinfectant solution? So both these terms like MPS and MPDS, multi-purpose solution, multi-purpose disinfectant solution, when you read, you think that both are same. There is no difference, but there is a lot of difference between these two things. And what is the meaning of multi-purpose? What is the meaning of electrolytes, lubricants, surfactants, chelating agents, protein removers, and molecular size? When they talk about the lens composition, they talk that this lens solution have this molecule which is having larger molecular size. So how does these things even important for contact lens solution? So we are going to discuss about those things. So before going to that, so the aim is that we should ourselves be aware about the contact lens solution, so that we can explain a good contact lens care to the patient, and we can give a good contact lens maintenance. So what is the final aim? Why you want to do all those things? Why you want to know about the contact lens solution? The final aim is that at the end of the day, the patient should, or the wearer should, have a lens which should be clean. Even the patient has used the lenses for the whole day. The second aim is to lenses, since they remain on the eyes, so it is bounded to have deposits from the tears, debris, dead cells, immunoglobulins that are presented on the tears. So those, and proteins and enzymes, those all things are there in the tears, and they are bound to stuck on the lenses. Like these are the some of the common deposits we see on the lenses: lipid deposits, lipid calcium deposits, protein deposits, poor lens surface wetting because of the deposits. So these deposits are tend to happen on the lenses. So one of the aim of the contact lens care and maintenance is also that we should eliminate, or we should minimize these deposits as low as we can. Third aim, you can say, that is to maintain contact lens hydration and wettability. Like this picture I have shown. So this picture is showing a very poor wettability. So when a lens is poor wettable, so the tear lens is will not form properly over the lens, and the patient will have a dry eye issues. So at the third aim of the solutions are also that to give a contact lens, we should have a good hydration and wettability. So every time the patient is going to wear the lenses, the patient should feel fresh with the lenses, as the patient had felt when the he or she has used the lenses first time. So when it is not properly hydrated, this is how the lens looks. So that's why we need to put lenses in a contact lens solution always when the patient is not wearing lenses. So to maintain the hydration, as well as to maintain the wettability of the lens surface. And the last aim, and the most important aim of care and maintenance, is to have a contact lens free from infection or free from the microorganisms, so that we can prevent ocular infection and inflammation. So these are the some of the very extreme infection, some of the infection that we never want to happen with the contact lenses. But a poor contact lens solution, or a poor contact lens care and maintenance, can lead to this kind of situation. At the end of the day, we want a eye which should look like this with the lenses. So these are the final aim of contact lens care and maintenance. And how we do care and maintenance of contact lens, and for that we need a contact lens solution. So like uh, so the first thing is that when we are not cleaning our lenses, so the first thing that is going to happen with the lenses is that the lens are going to have deposits. And I I will say deposits are the first thing which bring all the other complications, because when there is a deposit on the lenses, the lens will have a poor wettability. The lens will cause allergic reaction with the eyelids and the surrounding ocular tissue, and we tend to find this kind of GPC or papillary conjunctivitis very common when the lenses are not very clean and there are a lot of deposits on the lenses. And when there are deposits on the lenses, it will also attract a lot of microorganisms, and those microorganisms are tend to bind on those deposits. And it is also like can be one of the predisposing factor for infection later. So deposit is the, like, you can say it as a root cause which attract all the other problems. So what are the basic steps of a contact lens care and maintenance? I will come to solution after explaining the basic steps. So first step is the cleaning. Why we need a cleaning? So that we can remove all the deposits that is there on the lenses. So cleaning is first thing. The second step is the rinsing. So cleaning, you clean the lenses with a solution. And when you clean, so clean means you are rubbing the lenses with your fingers. And once you rub your contact lenses with your fingers, so that is the cleaning process. After that, we need a rinsing. Rinsing is just you have put in some cleaning solution on the lenses and just rinsed it. So it is a very important step. Uh, and third is the disinfection. So when you have cleaned the lenses, you have rinsed the materials that is there. It is similar like when you wash your plates or your food plates. So when you finish eating with that, your home plate, you go and wash with your some surf. That is your cleaning agent. So when you wash with that surf, you need water to rinse all those things that is there. So that is the second step. You think like it that. But in our home, we don't disinfect because that is not required. So, but for contact lenses, apart from cleaning and arranging, you need a disinfection also. You need a lenses that should be disinfected, so it should not cause infection. And protein removal is something, protein deposits are something that go deeper into the lens matrix. It is not on the surface. So you need some protein removal also, though these are not very common nowadays because we do not now because the conventional or the lenses which the patient are using are means nowadays most of the time it is monthly lenses. Very few patients we are giving yearly lenses, and the trend is the same. So the lesser the duration, you don't need to give these protein removals. But those patients who are using yearly lenses, they might need protein removal to remove the proteins from their lenses. Then we might give them some lubricating agents to use over their contact lenses, and then there are contact lens case. So the first three are the very essential steps. We can't miss that. Then the last three are the additional steps. If it is done, it is very good. If it is not done, then we will not say that the patient is on risk of getting infection or some complication. But if patient is doing, the patient will be more comfortable with the lenses. But first three are the essential. We can't miss that. So my talk would be mainly for the first three steps. So think from this point of view, you need a contact lens solution which should have a cleaning agent, which should have a rinsing agent, and which should have a disinfection agent. So you see that you need three different solutions. One solution for cleaning, one solution for rinsing, and one solution is for disinfection. So it seems very complicated system. Earlier, like if you go 30, 40 years back, so people in fact using these three different solution. So they were having three different bottles for their lens care and maintenance. And that's why the lenses were not very popular if you go 20, 30 years back. Nowadays, we don't have these three different bottles for lens care. We have a one bottle, and in one bottle solution, that solution is having all these three characteristics. It is having cleaning, rinsing, as well as disinfection property. That's why the today solutions, contact lens solution that we see, those are called MPS or multi-purpose solution. Multi-purpose because it is having all the components. So I will discuss one by one. What do we mean by the cleaner? What do we mean by the rinsing? And what do we mean by the disinfection? So when we talk about the cleaner formula or cleaner solution, so what should be the component of a cleaner part of a lens solution? So these are the like uh, components of a cleaning agent, and that should be there in a contact lens solution. The first four is very important, and that's why it is in the bold. Surfactant, solution preservative, water saline, and chelating agent. I will discuss one by one what these things are. And last four are called excipients. So we are not going to discuss it, but by default, these things would be there in a cleaner solution. I will discuss a very like brief at the last what these things are, these excipients. As a whole, these are called the excipients. So mainly I will be discussing about surfactant, preservative, and water or saline. We understand we don't need to discuss this. This is the bulk of any like solution. And these are the small, and these would be in the small number: surfactant, preservatives, and chelating agents. So what is surfactant? Surfactant is just like a surf. We have a surf in our home to clean our clothes and other things. So that is surfactant. So surfactants are called as a surface active agent. In a short, we call them as a surfactant. So they have a hydrophilic head and lipophilic tail. So what they do, they basically loosen the dust or deposits that is there on a surface. They do the same thing with our clothes when we wash them with the surf. They do the same thing uh, with the contact lenses, but the surfactant material is different here. So surfactants are basically wetting agent that lessen the surface tension of a liquid. And what are the basic functions of surfactants are? They remove deposit. This is the main function of the surfactants, to remove the deposits. The function of surfactant is not to kill the microorganisms that is there on the contact lenses, but only its work is to remove the deposits. How? By interacting with and or modifying contact lens deposit, displacing this deposits from contact lens surface, emulsify oils, lipids, destroy, dislodge microorganisms, prepare lens for rinsing and disinfection, and increase the wettability of the contact lenses. So this is a very important agent of a contact lens solution. If your solution does not have a good surfactant, so the like if you read this point, prepare lens for rinsing and disinfection. So these additional two very important steps, these are not going to be happening very well if the surfactant or this agent is not very good of the lenses. So these are the some of the surfactants that we use nowadays that you will see on all the contact lens solution, present time contact lens solution. There were others surfactants also that were used in the past, but those were not used currently. Presently, we have polyzymines. So it is called by the trade name Tetronic, and it is you come in Renu multi-plus or multi-purpose solution. That is basically a Bosch and Lomb soft contact lens solution. then polyhexamers, isopropyl alcohol, and diloxapone. So these all are the the surfactants which are there in different contact lens solution by different company. Coming to the second points, like preservatives. So first component was the surfactant, the second is the preservative. And this is also very important component of a contact lens solution. So the role of preservative is to preserve the saline. So there is a saline, in that saline there is a surfactant, there is a disinfectant, but there should be something in that solution that should restrict the growth of microorganism in that solution itself. And for that we need preservative. We do have a preservatives in all kind of solution. Our eye drops are having preservatives. Even if you go for any syrup, all those things, they are having preservatives. The role of preservatives just to restrict the or inhibit the growth of microorganism for the certain period of time. So that's why you see that the companies say that once you open a drop, it should be used or it should be used for 1 month only, and after that it should be discarded. Why it is so? Because after 1 month the preservative efficacy will not be there, and the solution chances would be that it would be contaminated. So similarly, in the contact lens solution also there would be preservative, and these are preservatives that we see in a contact lens solution. So biguanide, it is basically a colorless solid dissolves in water to give highly basic solution. Biguanide comes by the name polyhexanide, hexidine, and coac. That is basically quaternary ammonium compound. And these all are the preservatives. At the same time, also some of the preservatives also work as a disinfectant because preservatives are basically disinfectant. But also one point we should keep in mind that preservatives are the main components for all the problems that we see with the solution, because we know that all preservatives are having some side effects. Like these preservatives, those were used in the past in the contact lens solution, like benzalkonium chloride. So it is basically a quaternary ammonium compound. It is still used in the some of the older lens care products, not the recent contact lens solution, but the solution which are old, very old formulation, or the local company contact lens solution. They still use benzalkonium chloride. Even if you go into the OPD and if you see some of the drops that we use in the OPD, and those are the very cheaper drops, they are having this preservative because this is cheap. But this is problem in the benzalkonium chloride. It is that it is like tissue sensitive, and it has been seen that it always having some sensitivity reaction with the eyes and also with the corneal epithelium. So that's why it is not used nowadays. And also it is not very compatible with the soft contact lenses. It is compatible with the PMMA lenses that anyhow we are not using nowadays. The second very popular one preservative that were used in the past is the thimerosal. It is basically a mercury based preservative. So since it is mercury based, so it is not very environmental friendly, because you are putting mercury through the solution into the natural water system, and we know that mercury are having some carcinogenic effects. Apart from that, it is also having some cytotoxic effect, tissue reaction. So that's why it is totally banned in solution, and nowadays you will not see any solution having thimerosal. You might get solution having benzalkonium chloride. Chelating agents are basically the buffering agents. They maintain the solution pH, and it also helps at a remove as a work as a calcium removal or calcium deposit removal from the lens surface. So component that facilitate removal of tear film components mainly for calcium. And one of the chelating agent that's very commonly used are the EDTA. We all are aware about the EDTA. Other are citrate and hydroxyl phosphonate. And these are the excipients. So what is the main role of excipients are? They basically play a supporting role to make solution more comfortable for our eyes. So they maintain solution pH because once solution exposed to the air, the carbon dioxide comes into contact with the solution and change the pH nature of the solution. And when the pH, normally the solution pH are matched with the tear's pH, that is around 7.4. But once it come into contact with the carbon dioxide, it changes its pH. The buffering agent or these excipients, they help to maintain that pH. And it also increases the efficacy of the main components of the solution. And these are some of the common excipients that we use in the solution HPMC. So these are basically all the lubricating agents that we see in the eye drops, also lubricating eye drops. There are different excipients that we use for RGB contact lenses and for silicon hydrogel and soft contact lenses. So in GP contact lens, if you see this both silicon and soft contact lenses and RGB, the main difference is that GP contact lenses are having those excipients which are having high concentration. These are having high concentration excipient. These are the low concentration, because the soft contact lenses, we don't need high concentration to maintain the surface wettability. And the last very important part in the contact lens solution we have discussed was so first was your cleaner, and the second was what the rinsing. So cleaner and rinsing was both the same. And the last one, the disinfection. So how the solution get it disinfection property. So disinfection is central to lessen the number of all the microorganisms on contact lenses. So the aim is to eliminate all the microorganisms that is present on the contact lens solution, but we know that we cannot eliminate 100% organisms from the solution. And all disinfection all having two kind of effects, bactericidal or bacteriostatics. So basically the contact lens and disinfections that we use chemicals, they are having bactericidal effect. So disinfection system, again, you can divide into this four category: heat, also known as a thermal system, then chemical, hydrogen peroxide, and the last one is the subsonic UV disinfection. So as you can see that the first and the last one, these are not used nowadays anymore. The commonly that we use are the chemical and hydrogen peroxide. So mainly my talk would be revolving around chemical and hydrogen peroxide. So thermal disinfection, since we are not using and it is not used, so I'm not going to discuss a lot. Only reason why we do not, though thermal disinfection is a very good disinfection system, because it works again all the microorganisms, bacteria, virus, fungi, yeast, acanthamoeba, it works against all. The only issue is that when you give heat, so it is not very comfortable with the soft lenses because it tend to change soft lens parameters, and also it affect RGB parameters also. So that's why these are not popular. Now the main system is the chemical disinfection that we use. In the chemical, we have basically polymeric system. So these are the basis of all the current multipurpose solution that we see in the market. And they either contain polyhexanides or polyquaternary ammonium compounds. Polyhexanides could be PAPB or PHMB or alexidine and polyquaternium. So some solution you will see PAPB or PHMB or alexidine, some solution you will see polyquaternium. But these are basically the main chemical disinfection components that use in a soft and also hard contact lenses solution. So these are the compound that is in use in current solution. Those are available in the market. Earlier in the past, we are having these chemical disinfectants. As you have seen, it is written older. No more use nowadays. Thimerosal, chlorhexidine, sorbic acid, and isopropyl alcohol. There are many reasons for their discontinuation. So one of the main reason was that all these four are not very compatible with the ocular surface, and all of them are having some kind of sensitivity reaction. These are having the less sensitivity reaction when you compare with these four that were used earlier. So what is the advantage? So adequate for routine disinfection task. Polymeric. Polymeric means we are talking about the first one that we use now. They are adequate for routine disinfection tasks, fewer adverse outcome from their use in comparison with the earlier generation of the disinfectants. What are the disadvantages they have? Reduced disinfecting power. So they are not as potent in killing the microorganisms as they should be. And rub and rinse required. You can't only put a solution and you think that the lens will be clean. You need a rubbing step and rinsing step. And compliance more important. Why compliance more important? Since this in the present disinfectant are not very strong. And why they are not very strong? Because we have seen the more the stronger the disinfectant, you will see more the sensitivity reaction on the eyes. So there is a compromise in between, but they are very effective for the daily use. So if the compliance is not good, so the chances are that there would be some microorganisms that would be there in the contact lens surface and that can cause infection. And this is again hydrogen peroxide, that is a part of the chemical disinfection system, and this is a very important one. So what is hydrogen peroxide? So hydrogen peroxide basically having free oxygen radicals that are very reactive and bind quickly to many microbial cell components and works on the principle of oxidation. So the oxygen bind with cells of the microorganisms and it causes oxidation and break the cell wall, and that's how the microorganisms die. So it is a non-selective microbial antimicrobial agent. What does that mean? So whether it is a virus, bacteria, gram-positive, gram-negative, fungi, acanthamoeba, it works against all. So that's its non-selective, and that's why it's very effective disinfectant. And the byproduct of it, so once byproduct is only the oxygen and water. So also there is a no harm or sensitivity issue with the hydrogen peroxide solution. And one of the also very important advantage with hydrogen peroxide solution that it does not need any preservative, because hydrogen peroxide in itself is a disinfectant. So the greatest problem, but one of the issue with hydrogen peroxide is that it need neutralization before you put contact lens which is clean with hydrogen peroxide into the eye. You need neutralization, because if it is not neutralized means the neutralization process should be there so that it break the hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. If it is not break in the hydrogen and oxygen and you have put the lenses on the eye, so it will cause extreme burning reaction. So hydrogen peroxide disinfection system could be divided into two step and one step. So two step was used in the past. Now we use one step. So what is two step and one step? And hydrogen peroxide concentration is very important. So for contact lenses, the hydrogen peroxide concentration we use is a 3%. So as the name suggests, two steps simply means you have a hydrogen peroxide solution. So it needs two steps. So in the first step, you put hydrogen peroxide contact lens in a hydrogen peroxide solution, 3%, and you keep it there for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, depending upon like how much duration you want to keep it there. And once you have kept there, you need to put your contact lens in another solution, and that solution to neutralize the hydrogen peroxide that is there in a contact lens. So that's why there is a two-step, and that's why this step is this system of cleaning by hydrogen peroxide is called two-step system. So there are the some recommendation like minimum 3 hours, 3% hydrogen peroxide recommended, and the preferred would be overnight. You put a contact lens in a hydrogen peroxide for 6 to 9 hours. So these are the some recommendation like for to kill bacteria, hydrogen peroxide needs 10 to 15 minutes. For fungi, 60 minutes. Acanthamoeba, 3 to 6 hours. And the best thing is that it is suitable for all lens system, whether you have a PMMA, scleral, RGP, soft, it is compatible with all. So 6 to 9 hours is recommended because it covers everything. It covers bacteria, fungi, acanthamoeba, everything. Two-step disadvantage, as you can see, advantages are that can vary disinfection time, better suited. In the interest of time, I'm not going into detail. In a simple word, the advantage is that it is a convenient, like you can keep it for 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours, depending upon what do you think, like your risk versus benefits. The major disadvantage is that two steps are involved, so little bit complex. So to reduce this complexity, they have come up with a one-step system. So as the name suggests, one step means in a single lens, in a single hydrogen peroxide, you will be having disinfection and neutralization process. Both are going at the same time. So it comes in a vial like this. You will see a vial. There would be a solution, hydrogen peroxide. You will put contact lens in this cage. You close this cage, and then you put this contact lens cage into this solution, and at the bottom of this you are seeing a disc. So this is a platinum disc that is used for neutralization of the hydrogen peroxide that is present there. So this is the disc where you are having a platinum disc basically. So this is how it looks like when you put a contact lens in this cage. There is a hydrogen peroxide, and when it go inside, so the hydrogen peroxide would be having this disinfection effect. At the same time, you are seeing these bubbles. These bubbles are proof that neutralization effect are also going at the same time. So the steps are simple, means you don't have to bother for neutralization because both are happening at the same time. So this is one thing, like this is by Alcon. This comes by name Clear Care. One of the sad thing, okay, so advantage and disadvantage with one step is that in one step, advantage is that it is a simple process when you compare with the two step. Disadvantage is that you don't have a control, means you don't have a control to, like in the one step you wanted to put a lens in a disinfection for 6 hours, you have that flexibility. But into one step you can't control that because you have put in the lens, so disinfection as well as neutralization both are happening at the same time. So in terms of efficacy, one step is not as effective as two step. Two step is more effective in disinfection, disinfecting efficacy. uh, and there is some caution required in the hydrogen peroxide is that if patient somehow put it unneutralized or incompletely neutralized peroxide contact lenses, so it will result in discomfort, pain, ocular irritation because it will cause epithelial uh, kind of SPK's effect, diffuse SPK's effect. The patient would be having a lot of irritation. So this is one of the like problem with hydrogen peroxide, and because only for this reason hydrogen peroxide is not very popular in India, and most of the practitioners don't advise because they think that people will not understand that how this will work, and once they will put that unutilized contact lenses into the eye, they will having a lot of issues, and they will blame the practitioner, and eventually they will discontinue their contact lens use. Uh, so that's why all the hydrogen peroxide solution, they come with this red tip. A red tip just to signify, and also come with a like warning or kind of message labeled in a red color written there. So it needs neutralization. So the sad thing, hydrogen peroxide is one of the best cleaning or disinfection system that we have. But the sad thing is that in the India, it is not available. Earlier, this company was supplying this Clear Care, but the market is so less. No, very few of practitioners were suggesting this solution to the patient. So the market was so less that eventually all the companies has pulled out uh, uh, peroxide solution from Indian market, and the condition is right now that you will be not getting hydrogen peroxide solution in the market. We have an alternative. We can make our own, like it has been done in the past. You can take a 3% hydrogen peroxide solution from the market, and these are the neutralizing agent that you can again purchase for neutralization the hydrogen peroxide, but this is a complicated process. uh, Less convenient or less conventional, these are used but not very common. Like one of the disinfection method they have suggested is a micro wave oven. Not very popular, but that is again one of the method. The other is the using ultra UVC rays. So these are the other things. So these were all about the like components of the lens care solution. Apart from that, there are some additional material that could be used for contact lens cleaning. Those are the like in the very early slides, I have talked about the protein removal or protein deposits that would be there in the lens, and that would be deeper in the lens, not on the surface. So to remove the protein, it needs a special kind of enzymes. So it comes in a form of enzyme. So it is not very common nowadays again, because as I said, conventional lenses or yearly lenses are less in use nowadays. So that's why we don't need to give this protein removal to the patients. So you might have seen this kind of tablets. This is basically the enzymatic tablets that we break and put in the contact lens solution, and they have enzymatic effects, and they will bring out the proteins from the contact lenses. But again, not very popular nowadays. This is just a screenshot of the different contact lenses brand, what kind of disinfectant, what kind of cleaner they use. Like Alcon is having Optifree, AMO is having Complete Moisture, Bosch& Lomb, Renew, Siva Vision, Solo Care. So that was all about the contact lens solution. So some of the terms that you might come across while reading about the contact lens solution are the buffer or buffer agent, buffering agent. So what is that buffering agent? So these are the agents which basically keeps solution pH close to the natural tiers. And they also help in disinfecting and cleaning agents. Second is the wetting agents, already discussed. We also know them by name as the excipients. So they increase the lens uh, lubrication. Multi-purpose solution, they having all the component in one bottle, cleaning, rinsing, disinfection. So that's why they are called multi-purpose. What is multi-purpose disinfecting solution? Same as above, like multi-purpose solution. with higher microbiocidal requirements. That is called stand-alone criteria. So there is a two criteria: stand-alone criteria and regimen criteria. I don't have time to explain that. That would be the assignment for all of you. So you all have to go and read about what is stand-alone criteria, what is regimen criteria. So FDA standalone criteria, it is written very short. No lenses are involved. After inoculation, the solution must show 3 logs kill for bacteria and 1 log kill for fungi. So I'm not going to explain that. You all have to go and read and let me know. And just write and send me. And similarly, there is a FDA regimen criteria. So any like multi-purpose solution that you are seeing in the market, especially the from the companies like Bosch Norm or Alcon, those are the multinational companies. They have gone through this criteria to approved by the FDA. So we should know about what these criteria are actually. Though it is written very short, but I want all of you to go and read more about regimen criteria and standalone criteria. And what is FDA no rub requirement? When we see say a solution is a no rub solution, that what does that mean? Means it should be having both regimen, uh, antimicrobial and cleaning efficacy without rubbing. So this is a so basically you have to know about what is regimen criteria. So those solution which fulfill the regimen criteria, that solution could be called as a no rub solution. Means you just put a solution on a contact lens, you don't have to rub and rinse. So why rubbing and rinsing is important? Very short. Rubbing and rinsing played a vital role in the contact lens cleaning process. Contact lens deposits lipid or other tear components on in lens matrix. So this deposition can only be removed effectively by rubbing. Some studies says that rubbing and rinsing alone removes more than 90% of microorganism from a lens. So that's why it's very important step. We can't miss that. Last part about the contact lens storage. Uh, uh, very less but very important. So we store our contact lenses on a contact lens case. And the case always should be having this disinfecting solution. So since our current solution are having all those three components. However, the following solution are unsuitable for long-term storage, multi-purpose solution, one-step peroxide. Long-term storage means those lenses that we are storing in our OPD for a patient trial. For them, this multi-purpose solution means having all those three components in one solution, that might not be very good idea to put those trial lenses in this solution where the lenses are keep lying in a solution for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month time. But for patient, they can use. Patient before storing lenses, use, clean and disinfect contact lenses again. Before use, clean and disinfect contact lenses again. Select an appropriate disinfecting system for hydrogen peroxide. Not suitable if used immediately prior to wear. Replace the storage solution at least every 2 weeks while lenses remain idle. If any one of you have any question regarding that, you can ask later. I'm not explaining because it is self-explanatory. Storage case. So we have to instruct patient that they need to scrub their storage weekly with a new clean toothbrush, not a used one. That should be hard, and contact lens with a contact lens cleaning solution. Rinse with a sterile saline. If patient don't want to waste solution for rinsing, they can use a sterile saline or multi-purpose solution. And shake excess solution from the case. Rub dry with clean tissue or with a clean towel. Air dry cases and lids upside down on a clean tissue. So that's how the second picture, if you see, that's how a lid should, a contact lens case should be placed while drying. So there is a tissue placed, and then there is a cap, and over the cap, we have put a contact lens case. So we need to demonstrate this to the patient. This is how you need to air dry your contact lenses. Not like that you put it like anywhere. Replace at least recommendation is that at least replace lens case in 3 month time. And some very interesting new development that have happened in a contact lens case. So this new case we are available in the market. So it is having antibacterial lens case. So you are seeing there is a silver coating in a lens case, and this silver coating are charged, ion charged. So it prevent develop biofilm in the lens case. So in a way, these are more safer. So these are the recommended claim. Don't use this kind of lens case. So whenever patient come into the OPD, don't forget to ask them to show your lens case. It will give you an idea that how compliant the patient is. Very important in a summary that never mix soft contact lens solution with a RGP contact lens solution, because both are having different components or maybe different concentration, and that may cause problem. At every visit when the patient come for a follow-up, check their compliance, where they are following the cleaning and maintenance accurately or not. Ask patient to repeat instruction and demonstrate technique and procedure. Observe recommended storage condition, means how they store the contact lenses. Ask them to demonstrate. And this is a very simple acronym that you can give to the patient. Like, you remember this term cradle. So C means you have to clean your lens every time. You have to rinse your lens every time. You have to disinfect lenses every time. So clean, rinse, and disinfect lens every time. So this is a simple acronym that you have to make understand your patient. So that's all. I have said that it is going to be a little bit long talk. Uh, Quickly, I will take questions if any one of you have.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
If I am like ordering anything from, like, let's say Bosch and Lomb, do I need to use a Bosch and Lomb solution? Does that mean that I have to use it from Bosch and Lomb?
No, no. You can use other brand also. But the thing is that you can't use a RGP solution for a soft lens solution. So that is the thing. So whether you're using Bosch Alom, Alcon or anyone, but if it is a soft lens solution, so you can use it. But the recommendation is that if you are comfortable with a one kind of solution and you don't feel any problem with a solution which is very well adapted to your eye, so the idea is that you should continue with that solution also, because every solution would be having some preservative, and everyone, every eyes would not be uh, comfortable with every preservative. So different eyes are having different sensitivity issue. But you can change, means the simple answer.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Any more question? Okay, so I have a few questions. Can anyone tell me about this? What is the difference between RGP and soft contact lens care solution? No? Okay, answer is with me. I'm not going to take give the answer. if people go and find out. Okay, this is something I have explained in my presentation also, like why hydrogen peroxide not practiced in India. Anyone?
Sir, because of the
Because of the
market, no.
okay, because of the very low market capture or very less advice. So corrected hydrogen peroxide contact lens solution. Hydrogen peroxide is available in India. Uh, I don't know how many of you know about silicon hydrogel lenses, or I don't know why silicon reduces surface wettability in RGB lenses. RGB lenses materials are having silicon. Any answer? No answer. What is the difference between preserved and unpreserved solution?
Sir, the presence of preservatives
Okay,
and
again.
the duration of the long lasting also. Like
Okay, again go and find out. Okay, so there is only one question in the chat box. I will take that question, then I will. What is the question? I also use soft contact lenses. I use soft contact solution, but in case of forgetting, I just using RGB lens solution. Then which type of complication? As an optometrist, I think you should till now you should find out. Means you should be able to know, or you should be if you use contact lenses and you are an optometrist, you are bound to know these things. Like, but to give you an answer, like if you're using soft contact lenses, but if you have used RGB contact lenses solution, it is not like that you are going to have any complication in a very short duration of time. But say that if you're using soft contact lenses, but if you're using RGB contact lenses solution for cleaning the lenses for a very long period of time, say 3 months, 6 months, then definitely you would be having issue, and the issue would be like uh, solution sensitivity. So what would be having you like the eyes would be always red. You might also would be having some SPKs on cornea. So those kind of complication, not very extreme complication, but the major issue with the comfort, you will be not comfortable with the lenses. Is there any way to measure contact lens suitability practically? Yeah, there is a lot of way. Uh, there's a test called like wetting angle that we do in labs. So you put a drop on a contact lens surface and you measure the angle, how much angle that drop is making with the contact lens surface. So that is one thing you do in labs. Clinically, you can do like slit lamp examination. So you put a contact lens and you observe in the slit lamp. So a very poor wettable surface, you will see that the tear film is not forming on the lens surface. You will see like dispersed tear film. Similar kind of when you put a oil drop on a floor where there is a water, how the water would be dispersed. So similar kind of appearance you will see on a contact lens surface in slit lamp examination that tells that the lenses are having very poor wettability. Procedure to remove calcium deposit and protein deposit in hard contact lenses. So that is the best thing with the hard contact lenses. Hard contact lenses are very rarely you will see calcium or protein deposit. These are more common with the soft lenses. Hard lenses are having lipid deposits. Lipid deposits are more common with the hard lenses. So since their pore size is so small, hard lenses, so these matters are not able to penetrate inside the lens matrix. So practically you don't need to remove them because they are not there in hard lenses. You will see them in the soft lenses. Done. I think we are done